on June 22, 1633. He had already been condemned, yet on this day, the greatest mind of his age stood before the church, not to confess, but to defy. But how did a man who changed the world end up on his knees? The world was changing. In the shadow of the Renaissance, curiosity burned brighter than fear. Books, telescopes, and the idea that Earth was not the center of the universe, these were dangerous ideas. But they could not be silenced. The Church saw heresy in every star. The Inquisition had one rule: truth must bend to dogma. Those who challenged the Bible risked torture, exile, or death. Galileo would soon learn this firsthand. Across Europe, minds were breaking free. Scientists mapped the stars, dissected the body, and questioned the old order. But in Rome, the old order ruled. Galileo's telescope would soon shake the heavens. The Pope was not just a spiritual leader. He was the head of the greatest empire on earth. His word was law. To oppose him was to oppose God. Galileo's ideas threatened this divine authority. Through his telescope, Galileo saw moons orbiting Jupiter. He saw the phases of Venus. These were not celestial spheres. They were worlds. His findings shattered the Church's vision of the cosmos. Books were the weapon of the New Age. Galileo's writings spread across Europe, but the Church had watched. By 1633, she was ready to strike. In Rome, the Inquisition summoned Galileo. He was accused of heresy. The charges were clear. He had taught that Earth moved around the sun. This defied Scripture. And so, the trial began. Before the judges, Galileo knelt. He agreed to renounce his work. His voice, once bold, was now a whisper. He said the Earth was not moving, but in his heart, he knew the truth. The Inquisition declared Galileo guilty. He was sentenced to house arrest. His books were banned. But the Church had not silenced him, only delayed the inevitable. News of the trial spread. Some called Galileo a martyr. Others feared his ideas. But in secret, his work lived on. The truth could not be buried. As he left the trial, Galileo whispered, "Eppur si muove," and yet it moves. The Earth, he knew, was not still. This defiance would echo through history. Galileo spent the rest of his life under house arrest. His books were burned, but the stars did not stop their dance, and the world would one day listen. Galileo's ideas became the foundation of the Enlightenment. Scientists like Newton and Copernicus built on his work. The Church's grip on knowledge began to weaken. By the 18th century, the Earth was no longer the center of the universe. Science had proven that the cosmos was vast and full of mysteries. Galileo's legacy was now undeniable. The Church eventually acknowledged Galileo's contributions. In 1992, the Pope admitted the trial had been a mistake, but the damage had already been done, and the truth had already moved. Today, Galileo's telescope points to galaxies beyond imagination. His laws of motion guide spaceships. The man who once stood on his knees now stands at the heart of modern science. Statues of Galileo now stand in cities around the world. His face, once a symbol of heresy, now represents the power of truth. And yet, the Earth still moves, as he knew it would. Galileo's words live on in every telescope, every equation, and every question about the cosmos. He was wronged in his time, but history has vindicated him, and the Earth, as he said, still moves. The truth still moves. Subscribe for stories that defy time and gravity.